and I just wanted to, I just wanted to do something different, be somewhere different. And then, like, so my first, like, legit tech jobs were here, but I had also been, like, I have a brother that's a graphic designer turned web developer, so I would do, like, web development things for him previously. But yeah, this was like when I first like got like salaried jobs for it. Yeah.
Okay. And your wonderful presentation said that you had been in the tech industry for about 18 plus years. Is there anything that really influenced your getting into it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So in my senior year of high school, I actually finished all my credits early, so I was able to actually work like full-time, and I landed a job at a small computer company here, and it paid pretty well, at least I thought at the time, and I just wanted a job, right? And they told me, hey, we'll teach you about computers, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I just care that it's, you know, pays pretty well. And I started to learn about computers, and then I got into networking there. And that's really when I caught the bug around technology and was like, hey, I can go to school for this and like turn this into a career, and it would actually be fun, like a fun job. So that's kind of where it started from, and I was working with like Windows 95 and 3.1 and Windows 98. And some of those things were pretty terrible, but yeah.
You realize that you're outnumbered. This class doesn't even know it.
Yeah. That's why I'm throwing that out there. One day you all will see it in a museum or something somewhere, and you'll be
like, TV show.
Yeah. So I actually landed in IT on accident. With my first job as like a PC tech,
right?
And then liked it and decided, hey, I'm going to go to school for this. And then started to pursue it like seriously. And so I've had different jobs throughout the years where I was, you know, tech support and kind of worked my way up to IT manager, and then jumped into consulting. And I've been in consulting ever since. So.
And you say that you have an office in your home sort of dedicated to your work. Mm-hmm. Does that help you sort of separate your work life and your home life? Has that been good for you?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's having like a dedicated space and like a space where you're like, I'm definitely not working, is really important. Otherwise, like, you know, oftentimes you can, especially when you're younger, like when you're like in your 20s or whatever, and you're early in your career, you want to do everything to the max. You want to do all the things, you know. And then you get like to your 30s and you're like, I need to take a nap. And so it's really helpful to just like have that delineation, so you know, like, I'm gonna relax in this space and I'm gonna work in this space. Yeah.
And you do a lot of work from home?
I do all my work from home.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has that been treating you?
It's great. It's the best thing ever. Like, my company is actually super flexible. So, like, this is the most flexible company I've ever worked for, and they're a remote-first company. So, like, every time we have a meeting, like, even the people in the New York office, they are on camera. Like, everyone gets on camera, and, like, that's how you make sure that everyone can talk to each other. And so, but also, like, I can set my schedule. So I actually start working at 5 a.m., and then I stop working at 11 a.m., and then I'll, like, go for a run, or I'll, like, do something else for, like, a couple of hours, and then I'll work some more from 1 to 3, and then I'm done for the day, and then I can do whatever I want. So I love it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you have some sort of freedom to determine your schedule as well when you do consulting work?
Yeah, it depends. It really depends on the client. It also depends on the project.
Okay.
And it depends on, like, what we're doing. So I work with a lot of teams from India as well. So, you know, I might have to be up at 5 a.m. to do a call with the team from India, or stay up late to do a call with the team from India. We try to bounce our schedules around so that it's pretty equal.
Okay.
I also have, like, a dedicated office space, too, and I think, like what you said, it's important to have that, so you know when to, like, shut it off and stop working and go rest. And it's just really good to have that dedicated space, too.
Would you say that it's trying to figure out how to phrase this. I'm assuming you've both had a couple of like 9-to-5 jobs, and now you're doing more working from home consultations. Is there any way that you can maybe compare the two and figure out, because I'm sure there are different like office spaces and areas and time frames that work for different people, so maybe you could just talk a bit about how that's improved your life, maybe. The freedom.
Well, I know, so my schedule changes. Sometimes I'm in the office,
Right.
in office, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm working from home. When you do work from home, it's, I mean, you tend to, like, eat what's in your kitchen. So you save money that way, right? You're not, like, eating out, and you're not spending money on, like, your car, like gas, driving to and from a place. And also you save time on the commute, so that's really nice. So you can just get up, get ready, start on a meeting or start on the work that you need to do, and you can save, 30 minutes, an hour, depending on where you need to drive to or you would need to drive to. You save all that time from that commute, so it's really nice from that perspective.
Yeah, I would say that definitely working in offices, especially here in Minnesota, because, like, I hate driving here in the winter, like, when it's bad. Like, I absolutely hate it. Like, not having to do that is, like, just adds a lot of quality to my life because I'm not stressed out.
Yeah.
And then also,
like,
yeah. And then also, like, in the office, it's like you are, there are more people that can see you, and there are more people that are, like, maybe trying to see what you're doing, and it's like you have more trust when you're like in your home. And then, but the thing about it is, like, when you are in your home and you work remotely, you have to make sure that you are making an effort to like talk to people and like actually go and see people, because usually when you have an office job, there's people that you hang out with at work and like that sort of thing. So you just have to make sure that you're like making sure to connect to people, because that's super important too.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, like, I have people that I am with on a regular basis from my team. Just, check in and just say hi, things like that. You have to work harder to, like, build those relationships. So, and I think it makes you better at it, actually.
Yeah, it does, because you have to be really intentional about your communication, especially, like, when you're doing text communication, because, like, you don't have the body language, you don't have the tone of voice. So it's, like, you have to be very intentional about, like, the thing that you're saying and, like, trying to make it as less ambiguous as possible, which makes you, I think, often more thoughtful in, like, how you communicate.
I'm sure that transfers over to a lot of your in-person relationships as well.
Yep.
As far as education goes, did either of you take any sort of classes in technology or coding as far as high school or college before kind of getting into the fields that you are now?
So, so I went to college. I have a bachelor's degree in information technology, and I have an associate's degree in network support specialist.
Okay.
So I finished the network support specialist first and continued on for the bachelor's. In between there, too, I went to, like, a boot camp kind of school, but it was more for, like, networking and things on the IT pro side.
Okay.
So we actually didn't do like any coding there. So any coding that I know is like self-taught. So there's a lot of resources out there online, and the best way to learn how to code is to like just get in and start doing stuff. And you break things, but then you understand how they work. You get better over time. So that's my background of education.
For sure. I didn't learn any code, like there were no coding classes when I went to high school, so everything that I knew about coding I like read in a book or like did online. And then when I originally went to college, I went for civil engineering because my dad's a civil engineer. I hated civil engineering, and so I ended up dropping out of college, and I like kind of bounced around for many years. So my actual degree is in technical communication, and I did a minor in computer science. And the minor in computer science was super helpful for like job interviews, because you take this class called data structures, and like for a time, and probably still now, like everyone wants to grill you on data structures in interviews. So it was like, it was really helpful to have that. And then when I moved here, I decided to start going to grad school because when I actually moved here at first, I wasn't a developer. I was working at a tech company on the sales side. And so I was like pretty bored with that. So I was like, I'm going to go to grad school. And I went to grad school and I got an MBA, Master's of Business Administration. And then I also got a Master's of Software Engineering. So software engineering is kind of like definitely everyone can teach themselves how to code. But software engineering is like kind of getting more into like how do you architect your software? So like you have that code, but like how do you make it so it's maintainable? How do you make it so that like it's reliable and that sort of thing? So that's what I learned in grad school.
Okay. Speaking to the idea that kind of anyone can teach themselves how to code, as you both kind of did with yourselves, it sounds, are there any specific programs or books that you would recommend for young students like these people to kind of start getting into it and learn more about coding for themselves?
Yeah, so two that I use is like codeacademy.com. I think that's the website URL. Mm-hmm. And then edx.org.
Okay.
Has just a lot of, both of them. So codeacademy.com is focused on just like pure coding, where edx.org also has stuff like if you want to go learn about blockchain, or you want to learn about like, you know, software engineering, like more like architecting applications and stuff like that, or even on the IT pro side, or you want to learn about Amazon's cloud or Microsoft's cloud, they have like classes on there and they're free. And some of the courses that are on there too are offered from like different universities around the country. So it's just a really good resource.
For sure. So I am going to plug the website of the place I work for, glitch.com. Glitch.com. Its mission is to make it so that that everyone can build the internet. So like basically everyone has the capability of coding. And what we do on glitch.com is we provide you with starter apps. So you get a starter app, like you can have like a basic website, and you can see that website while you're coding on it. And you can also ask for help from the community. It has a whole community component. So like that's a way that you can actually like build a thing and see what's happening like right then and there. But also like you can supplement that with books. There's a ton of books out there on JavaScript, and then also the websites like Code Academy, Treehouse, those sort of things.
Are there any specific languages you think are really integral to the fields and growing sort of interest in technology today?
Well, I don't think, I mean, like everything basically, JavaScript is super hot right now. So if you're going to do a language, you might as well learn JavaScript, and it's like the barrier to entry is very low. You can do a lot in JavaScript, and you don't have to like, there's a lot of spin up with languages like Java and stuff like that, and so it makes it difficult, but JavaScript is like a web-based language. But otherwise, like languages are going to change all the time. So learn one language and feel pretty good about it, and then you can probably transfer that to other languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like you learn how to code and like what you need to do, and you can pick up different languages, and you will have to do that. And we're in technology, right? So things change. So don't get tied to a language or technology because you're going to have to change that at some point. Mm-hmm. For me, like the stuff that I do, it's PowerShell, it's JSON. For the cloud automation stuff, Python, kind of those languages.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch base on real quick? Otherwise, I know you had more to your presentation that I think we should go over.
I don't know. I don't think I had anything else.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else either.
Okay.
A lot of great questions.
Thank you. A lot of great answers. So.
Steve, welcome back in the screen sharing mode. We
okay.
Since then had disconnected so we could see you guys online.
All right.
All right, take it away, Steve.
All right, so for all of you out there, like, how many of you play this game or know what this is?
I know what it is.
Really? Okay. Awesome. So what game is this?
Fortnite.
Okay. So everybody plays this, knows what it is. How many people do you think like play this game at any given time? Okay, like one person at a time. Like just throw the numbers out there, but like one person at a time.
Wait, how many people play it?
Like, yeah, how many people are online playing the game at any given time?
All the time.
So if you think about like right
now, how many people?
How many gamers do you think are on there playing this right now? A billion. Okay.
Does anyone else want to do
an eighth of the world?
2 million?
Okay. Anyone? 3 million? You know what? You hit the mark. It's actually 3 million.
Wow.
3 million concurrent users. All right, so you guys play this game and you all love this game. We're gonna talk about like the stats for the game, like how many people are on the game and stuff like that, and then we're gonna talk about some of the technologies that are used to power this game. Right, so there are people like Antoinette and people like myself that work for the company that owns Fortnite to keep it running, to make sure it's fast and it's not laggy when you're playing the game and stuff like that. So these are the stats, right? So there's actually 125 million players worldwide that play this game. And there are 3 million plus, I don't know what the actual number is, but it's 3 million plus on the game at any given time. That's a lot of people, right? Yeah. So it takes a lot of infrastructure and a lot of power to make sure this game is up and online, and all of you gamers can get on there, right, and play the game, and it's fast. There are millions of lines of code for this game. And then this is a big one. So the creator of Fortnite, Tim Sweeney, the guy that owns the company and it's his brainchild, he started programming at 11. So it's never too early to get into this field, to actually start programming and learning about tech. And who knows, you might be the next creator of the next Fortnite. Right, so you can see here in the center column, if my mouse works, I'll just stand up. There's a lot of technology and languages that go into this game, right, that power it, like database stuff. There's machine learning that's there, so as you're playing the game, the machine learning is actually interacting with you and understanding like the kind of preferences you have and stuff with the game and making adjustments for you. And then there's analytics, so there's a whole bunch of people that are going through data as you're interacting with the game and working with players to understand what you like and what you don't like, right, to improve the game over time. And like the worlds and stuff like that. So some of these areas would be like what Antoinette does, right? So she's more in development. So she would be like writing the code to run the game. There's also something here called Blueprints Visual Scripting. And so what that is, it's similar to Scratch and it's similar to Tinker, where it gives you like these blueprints. You could think of them as blocks to help people that are not like true developers be able to go in there and modify the game and build worlds and things like that. Now me, I work on kind of the infrastructure side. So to power a game that has 3 million users on the game at any given time takes a lot of power, a lot of servers, right, to do that. So there are people that make sure those servers are running, that they're up, that the web servers that are serving out the game to all of you gamers, that all of that stuff is operating and making sure that it's responsive and it's fast and all of that. Another thing to call out is the back end for this game runs on cloud. So,
do you all know what cloud is?
iCloud?
Like iCloud, yeah, for sure. So like if you have your phone and like you have like photos on it, and then you're like, oh, I want to save it to iCloud. So that's the cloud. It's like servers and stuff, and Steve can tell you more about servers. But but basically these servers are storing all your data, and then when you want it, you can get it from wherever you're at because it's like in these servers that are in the cloud.
Yep, or think like in Fortnite, and I have to tell you, I've never actually played the game, but think in Fortnite as you're going through worlds, right, or you're working with different players, those graphics have to render and come back to you. So you have to have servers that are able and powerful enough to do that. So now that we've kind of talked about Fortnite and what it takes to power that and have a game and like how many users and gamers are playing that at any given time, I'm actually going to do a quick demo to show you guys what it takes to deploy a video game, right? So I'm going to spin up what's called Infinite Mario, and I'm going to run that in a container, and I'll show you what a container is. And I'm actually going to run this on cloud, so I'm going to spin it up in Microsoft's cloud. So I'm logged in right now to Microsoft's cloud, and this is called Azure. And I'm in a command line. So with infrastructure and almost any job that you want in tech and in IT, you're going to need to know some level of coding, even if you're not a developer, like developing day in and day out. So let me grab this really quick because we're going to use that one string there to deploy the game. So I'm going to run this. And this is going to deploy the video game. Right, so we'll have this deployed in like less than 5 minutes here. So there it is. So it's running.
So how can I tell it's running?
I'm going to show you right here. So.
Oh, you're typing down here at the bottom?
Yep. Let me pull that up. Make sure you can see it.
So have you all ever used a terminal before, like done this type of stuff? So what Steve is doing is basically like when he writes cube control, which is that first word there, that's a program. So like just like you open any program like a browser or whatever, he's doing that, but he's like typing out, this is the name of the program that I want to have run. And then he writes some words after that tells the program like, oh, what do you want me to do? And that's what Steve has been doing here.
And so what I ran here was I basically told it, hey, deploy this Super Mario game, right? And we have that Super Mario game right here. So we can see the services there. And it receives something called an IP address. So was there a question or comment there? No? I thought you were going to say you know what an IP address is.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
Yeah, exactly. So to access things on the internet, to access this game, right, we need to have an address, just like your house. Like if someone's going to come to your house, you got to give them your address, right, so they know where they're going. It's the same thing with the games. So like with Fortnite, you type in a URL to get to that game. So that's essentially what this IP address is. So I'm going to pull this, copy that, and we're going to see if this works. So I'm going to put that out there in a browser, and there it is. There's the game. So if any of you have cell phones or anyone that's watching online, you actually want to access this game, this is live. So you can actually pull this up on your phone, or you can pull it up from another computer, and you can get to the game.
Pull it up.
So
this is the class you can actually use your phone with.
So if you think about
very interactive.
If you think about like Fortnite, this is, you know, they're running the game, they're running instances of it, and then they're publishing the address out to all of you so you can get to the game and start to play the game. Right? So.
And then you have to put in the IP address to get there?
Yep.
104.
So it's 104.43.199.132:8080. Don't forget the :8080 on the end of it. And that should come up in any browser.
Did he get it? Did you get it?
And what does the 8080 do at the end of it to help you find it?
The 8080 is a, and I'm gonna get killed here. If I jump on him. So the 8080 is just a port. So I could have multiple things running on here, and I can separate them via port.
Yeah, so like the analogy he had about like a building having an address. So the apartment building has a lot of apartments, and so each port is like an apartment in the building. So you can have like different things going on in each apartment, basically.
So another thing that I want to show all of you is, so I ran that string, right, to deploy the game to my Kubernetes, and I'm just going to show you what was actually in the YAML file. So this is what's in there, right? So this is telling the system, like, deploy this game, this is what you call it, this is the port that you're going to use to access it, and then it takes care of assigning the IP address, so how you get to it and all of that stuff. It takes care of a lot of the orchestration for you to bring it online. And the actual game is contained in what's called a container file, and that's what this is right here. So that entire game is right here in this code.
So that compliments of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. That is a fraternity call.
I thought we had some excited attendees.
That won't work. I'm sorry. I should put it on.
But so that wraps up my question.
Can you repeat the thing to get to the Mario again?
Yeah, the IP address.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull that up here. So it might be a little easier to see it from here. Oops. And I can make the text bigger. Not sure how you, there we go. So the actual address to get to the game is this right here. So just type it in your web browser just like it is. So 104.43.199.132, and then you need a colon 8080. Another question?
What if it like didn't let you play?
So it's not working from your phone?
No.
Yeah, so unfortunately this game like requires a keyboard, right? Because you got to press S to get into the game, and so if your keyboard's not coming up, is it working for you? No?
No keyboard.
So that's another thing when you're a software developer, right? You need to make sure it works on all platforms.
Yeah.
Phones, computers, tablets, TVs now, maybe in the future cars.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where your users are going to be accessing your game or your application.
Well, just if I can piggyback on that, that's, quality assurance and testing is a completely another job. Hey guys, another job, and you have that on your phone, you are on the phone. But you need to listen to this because you need to know how to code and understand how the software works so that you can test it. If you guys ever come across a hack in a game that didn't work, or you found something that like, oh, they didn't know how to code it, well, that job, there's actually a job for people to find those things. And there's a company called Activision. How many people have heard of a video game called Activision? They are actually in Eagan, and some of the BDPA students actually work in an office out there to test video games. And they get paid to go to work to play video games and try to beat the games and break the hack, figure out where to break the games.
How many of you would like that job? So that actually leads into our next slide here. So in tech, there's a lot of different areas that you can go into. It's not just like what we're doing here, or it's not just like working for Geek Squad. there's a lot of different areas that you can go into, right? You could do software development. You could work on mobile devices. You could do IT for a company. You could do other tech, right? So if you want to help automate like self-driving cars or, you know, connected fridges, right, at your house or different things like that, there's a whole nother world of tech that's coming, and by the time you all are adults, there's going to be a whole nother world of jobs out there for things that don't even exist today. And then here's just a slide that lists out like some of the jobs and like some of the salaries. This is from 2018, so you can see like the tech field is a very good field where you can make a really good living. Right, and I know you're not concerned with that right now, but trust me, in the future that will be a concern. And there's so many different jobs and roles that you could go into in the tech field. And then this just shows, like, again, a list of the different jobs, and these numbers were how many jobs were available for these roles in 2017, and these have grown since then, and they're continuing to grow. So by the time you like get through high school and get through college, there's going to be a lot more jobs out there for you. It's a really good field to get into right now. And then this is just to kind of show you one career path, right, that you could follow as you're going through and make your way up to CIO. We actually have a CIO sitting with us, which is awesome. And this is just to kind of show you, you know, the ladder for a career in tech. But again, this is, you know, there's many different avenues, and you know, maybe you're happy being a developer and programmer. There's nothing wrong with that either. And then this is more for like any parents that are watching, and all of you youth as well. These are different things that you can use to get involved with tech, like now. Coming out to these meetings, right? The Minnesota STEM Partnership, BDPA has youth summer camps, and I know Michael can talk more about what other things the BDPA has. There's Code Ninja. Now, Code Ninja, I think, is a company where you got to pay for the school, but they'll actually teach you how to code. And then Scratch, and another one that was mentioned is Tinker.
Yeah, and you have Peppa. It's coming out. They have a program, and there's also free software too. There's online. You can find programs like Lynda, Lynda. And these resources will be available on the website eventually here, but code.org is another one that seems to be a pretty popular one, sweeping some of the inner city public school districts, trying to proliferate that. And then I know other organizations like Antoinette Equity, you want to share about that? Do you feel the equity, the entrepreneurial space, and more?
Yeah. I mean, Tequity, we have 3 areas that we're interested in supporting. That includes people your age, getting them into coding. So we're going to have 2 coder dojos this year. And then also, like, people in their careers. So we're going to have, like, speed dating and not speed dating, corporate speed dating, like you interview with a bunch of people. Speed networking, yeah. And then third, like entrepreneurs. So we're gonna have we had a Tequity event before we renamed ourselves to Tequity that focused on entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs in the Twin Cities. So, yep.
And then hackathons is a big thing too, right?
Yeah,
like there are different hackathons around the Twin Cities.
Yeah, and at Tequity actually helps to put on Code Switch, which is a hackathon focused on civic engagement. So that's going to be, I think, in September this year.
And so just so they know what hackathons are, and I've never actually gone to one. I've just like read about them and checked them out like online. But So you actually go there and like build things, right? So they could go and like build something and work with other people, right?
Yeah. So typically, like people come and they have some ideas, and then like people want to like experienced people and people without a lot of experience can like get together and build those things, and then there's usually like a thing at the end where you present, and then you can like win prizes and stuff. But it's just a good way to just hack on something and like get to meet new people and that sort of thing.
So, and that's it for what we had.
Well, fantastic. So let's see, the time is now 7:13, and I guess this was a point in time where you had a Q&A.
Do we want to do more?
So students, well, I was going to say we might want to ask the students.
Yeah, did we want to do a student Q&A?
Questions. Should we ask them if there's anything?
I mean, you kind of did.
Does anybody want to come up and talk about what they do?
Well, Tony.
Come on,
Sure. Whichever one works better. I can't really move too much. They can come to me, yeah. Sure.
Anybody want to talk about their coding stuff?
I think Tony does.
So, Tony, the one thing about this.
Feel free, come on up.
Sean, you wanna?
So why don't you come and stand next to her and just share a little bit about any coding projects that you work on? Your mom, all your buddies are here. We're not going to call you out. Well, wait, we're going to call you out, but we'll wait till we leave.
So we'll have her talk to Tony first, and then I think Sean has a question.
Sean has a question. Yeah, we'll talk to Sean second.
Hello.
Hi.
So, what's your name?
Tony.
Okay.
Tony Dagan.
Awesome. Can you tell us a bit about kind of what you've been doing, Tony?
6th grade. I use this coding website called Tinker, and we used it in our school, and it helped us like code mini projects that we did, like building shapes and stuff and making our own games and stuff like that.
And what sorts of games did you end up making with Tinker?
Like 2D and some 3D.
So are those games out there where we can go check them out, or
No.
No.
It was basically just practice for coding for now, at least.
Do you have any interest in kind of learning about more coding in Tinker or any other language in the future?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything in particular?
I kind of want to make games when I'm older.
Okay.
That's very cool.
Very. Is there any questions you had for these two in particular before you go back?
No, not really. Or is math a big part of coding?
So that's a really funny question. So a lot of people think that math is a big part of coding. Like I hardly ever use math in what I do. However, when you go on interviews, there are people who are going to want to ask you mathy questions, so it's a good idea to know math.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Good job, Tony.
Yeah.
So Sean, who's Sean? Or who is Sean?
Sean right here.
Oh, the hacker? Sean, someone
No.
$20,000? Come on, Sean.
Sean's on the end, actually.
Oh, you're Sean? No.
Well, I guess
Hi.
you gotta.
So this young man has a question.
I hack a game, and it's called Undertale, and what I do is I just go into the files and change some things.
Sweet. What's it written in? Do you know the language it's written in?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what you changed on the game, or?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about?
I changed, like, what's in my inventory and my HP.
Oh, sweet.
Your
So
hit
is
points.
it? Yeah, hit points. Yeah. So is it like text that you change? It's just like a text file.
It's numbers.
Oh, it's numbers. How do you know? Oh, sorry.
So like you only have one bullet, but you put 100 bullets back in there? You know? Oh, you're just like a little cheater over there.
And how did you figure out where to go to like hack the game?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Cool.
Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay.
So
Wait.
I have a comment for you too. So that's really good. So like, we use YouTube as a resource too for learning. If we want to learn something new or there's a new technology out there, chances are someone's done a video on how to do it. So that's a great example on.
For sure.
So the reason why I'm interested in it is because my two boys play this game called Xbox and some game called Halo. And what they would do is they would cheat against me. So don't take that as a personal thing. But somehow I ended up in a corner and kept dropping canisters on my head. So I played the whole game. They played for hours. I played the whole game stuck behind barrels. And every time I went to move, somebody dropped a barrel on my head and I blew up and I had to. So if I'd have known how to hack it and change my HPs, I would have changed my life. I would be actually the one that school to earn $70,000 like you're going to do in cybersecurity, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You go to South Dakota State University. Think about it. You got a few years to play. No, for you. Fantastic. I give you
You had a question.
Okay, your turn.
Come on up.
Feel free to come all the way
You
up.
gotta come all the way up.
Come all the way up. The price is right. All right.
Hello.
Hi. So you said something about people who play the games to see things that are broken in them. Yeah, sometimes I come across those games, and there's this one game in particular that I have on my phone, and it's really easy to do it. You can get infinite coins in it.
So yeah, Michael, you were talking about some of the BDPA youth that work at, I think it was Activision.
Yeah.
So like, how do they land those jobs, or like, how did that work? If they wanted to do something like that, how could they go about that?
So they could. One of the things that we're trying to do is communicate these opportunities, because it was quite by accident that I even knew Activision was here. But we have to realize that the beautiful thing about, hey boys, each and every one of you need to understand one thing about the Twin Cities, right? There are the largest or second largest number of world headquarters right here. We're talking about world headquarters. You know what happens at the headquarters? All the important decisions are made. The big IT people are there. So if anybody has a chance to succeed, each and every one of you should be sitting in one of those offices running things, okay? Like this gentleman right here. Who knows this man right here?
I don't.
Okay. So
Well, you will after this.
I don't know, maybe due to privacy things, you might not be able to do that, but how many people understand the term big baller shot caller? Right? Okay, so to have an important job, you have to have important knowledge, right? To get important knowledge, you have to have important experience. And as soon as you start developing your skills now, while you're 12 to 14 years old, and you continue to just keep pushing hard, don't give up, because this stuff isn't easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But there are a lot of people that are going to look at you and say, oh, well, you're black, you can't code, but you can change that whole paradigm, that whole concept. Have you guys ever heard that? Somebody make fun of you because they just don't know what skills you actually do have? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sad that every young man in the room is shaking their head yes. Okay? So you all need to get out there and attack this stuff with a passion. Learn to change those codes, change those hit points, learn to get in and dig in. Whatever code it is, don't ever think it's too minimal or whatever, because you can always learn something. And I guess I didn't even expect to talk, but I would say the other thing is to think logically and learn the term algorithm, right? Because when you're playing basketball, you have algorithms. When you're doing coding, you have algorithms. You have an algorithm to your day. You wake up, put your feet on the floor, put your feet in your slippers, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth. But you have a system and a pattern to the way you start your day, right? Well, all you have to do is map it to coding, right? So No, I'm very proud of each and every one of you guys coming in here. We have a group of young ladies that are going to, they probably will watch this online, but this is a great opportunity for you guys to really hit the accelerator and get ahead of the curve, right? So keep doing whatever this young man over here says, whether it's drones or coding or robotics. Yeah, you guys have a great opportunity to succeed. Yep, and if I was doing a better job as video switcher, I would have had you guys on. They're going to fire me. I'm going to get fired. So those are the kids. These are all the kids out there. Yeah. All right. So
wait for the oh, no, not anymore.
Too late.
Wait, do you want to?
I was just going to tell them to wave
All right.
for the folks that are online.
All right, wave to everybody online.
Thank you, folks that are online.
All right. So everybody online from Weber Park Library in Minneapolis, North Minneapolis, we bid you fair adieu. Thank you for joining. Was there anybody online that wanted to type text a question in the chat window? If not, we'll wait another 30 seconds to see if anybody has a chat question. Otherwise, we will thank you all for coming. And I'm watching the chat box right now. I don't see anybody. We'll get it off the kids. They're like, we done hacked the games. Drop yelling buckets on Mr. Wolf's head. Let him out of Halo jail.
Halo jail.
All right.
There we go.
Video feed worked the whole entire time and screen share. So thank you all. I want to especially thank our guests, and I will say absolutely the wonderful Antoinette Smith for being here, part of Techquity, and also the many other wonderful things that you do for the Twin Cities, helping bring the BitCon 18 to the Twin Cities. And the national organization, Mr. Buchanan, thank you very much for all the wonderful things you're doing. If you don't follow him on Twitter, what's your Twitter feed?
It's Bucatech.
Bucatech, B-U-C-H-A-Tech.
Yep.
Antoinette?
What, Twitter?
Yeah.
Ant_off. ANT_AUTH.
All right. And then our wonderful MC, hostess for the evening. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Sure. Thank you, everybody, for coming, sticking around, whether you were in person or online. It has been a pleasure to MC for you and to get to know our lovely speakers. And feel free to stop by next month. We should have something even better in store.
Yeah, we have a banquet youth showcase. So I think we may skip the live thing and be the week before. We may still do it. But we have the youth team showcase, and we'll be showcasing the robotics teams, the drone league, and also we'll have a number of keynote speakers throughout the evening. So every 30 minutes, we'll talk about a topic, and it's definitely a must come see. It's really a networking opportunity for professionals, so there'll be about 70% adults and 30% kids. But it'll be very after-work friendly, very youth-friendly, and also very casual-friendly. So we're hoping you all can join us. You'll get that in the newsletter. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Soleil.
My pleasure. You guys have a great day.
Take care, everyone.